Hey, my name is Wan. I'm a coach based in Singapore. In this session, I'm going to share a story happened a couple of years ago when I was a Scrum Master. From that story, I will relate it with vertical development and Agile. Let's get started. So this story happened a couple of years ago when I was a Scrum Master. One day, my ex-boss asked me to come to his office. And in the discussion, he said this: one, this is not working. This is not proven. And at that moment, I was pretty shocked. Not because the way he said it is the meaning that I'm assuming. I was thinking, what is not working, not proven? And I was thinking, does he refer the situation to my performance? And only much later, I can understand what he was trying to say. Before we discuss further, I would like to share a framework with you. And the framework is called Vertical Mindset Indicator. It's a framework to help leaders to know where they are in their development. In this framework, there are 6 stages. For the sharing today, we will only concentrate on 3 stages: expert, achiever, and redefining. And before I continue, I would like to stress people in later stage does not mean they are better than people in earlier stage. And let's get started. For an expert, their main interest and concern is about mastering something, mastery and expertise, and they emphasize a lot on data and logic. For achiever, results are utmost important and standard. Usually they have high standard and try very hard to achieve the goals and the result they are aspiring. And for redefining, leaders in this stage are more influenced by meaning and purpose and would like to find different ways to consider the current situation and maybe try different approach. And with that framework, how do I make meaning from the previous statement? When my expert said proven, so from my meaning making, he was assuming the thing is controllable, that can be repeated. So very much, this is a statement made by an expert likely. And how do we use this framework? And I would like to share my meaning making using framework on Agile manifesto. So for people who are familiar with Agile manifesto, there are 4 lines. In the manifesto, we emphasize on the left column and less on the right column. It doesn't mean that the right column is not important. It's just that in the manifesto, the left column is emphasized. So let's start with experts. When the experts review this manifesto, they will likely to find ways to be an expert, to develop their mastery. So the first line, individuals and interaction. So what they are searching for probably is there a framework to help them to be an expert in dialogue with people. And being an expert, they are very also interested in tools and framework. What are the tools and framework to help them to collaborate better with customer and to predict change rather than responding to change? And in software, there are many tools to be a craftsman, software expert. Next, being an achiever, when they look at the 4 statement, they probably see many risk factors. For example, dialogue, collaboration, respond to change. Because this to them are unpredictable. How do we predict the change? Predict the way customer responding and predict the outcome of the dialogue. So for an expert, one likely response they have is to minimize risks. So they were very interested with best practice, experience of successful examples, and they will try to duplicate the successful cases. So they are not so much about the 4 line, it's about reducing the risks come with the 4 lines in the manifesto. And the third is redefining. And the people in this stage, they can see the shift in focus from process to people, collaboration, and they can pick up a keyword, responding and not reacting. And then they are likely to open to different way of responding and willing to accept or explore unknown space of not knowing, and less inclined in pursuing best practice. Exploration and interaction are very important for them. So that might be how people at different stages reacting and responding to the Agile manifesto. So many people will ask, how do I help people to develop vertically. And I would like to share an article, How to of Vertical Development, Part 2 by Nick. In the article, he shared that for the vertical development to flourish, three conditions are required. The first is heat expression. It means disruption and disorientation. And it means the situation create confusion and doubt on the current way of thinking or doing. And to create that, one way is to have disruption. And second way to have the heat experience is to adopt culture of risk taking or adopting a framework immunity of change to uncover of our assumptions and blind spots. And so once we have the disrupting and disorienting experience, second condition required is collecting perspective. That means we will review what's behind the disruption and disorientation. We can adopt a system perspective, different worldview, or prior thinking. That means we accept the disruption at the same time pursuing a totally different objective or approach. The third condition required is to have better sense making. We can use a stage map like the one that I just shared at the beginning, that's called vertical mindset indicator. We can help the people to do better sense making with people in the later stage. And of course, coaching always helps to bring out the best in the people. And if you're interested to know more about updates from us one, please subscribe to the email notification service. And if you want to explore vertical development, here's the link to book a time slot to have a chat with me. Thank you for your time.